Now, there's a player that's got away with murder over the last few weeks while everything's been coming down on Ten Hag. Is this where Ten Hag has gone wrong ultimately at Manchester United? I want to try and swing around this argument and this debate. There are many people that think I've just got it in for Ten Hag, but I want to look at both sides again, as I always do, and I want to get into detail and do a bit more of a deep dive regarding the senior players around Erik Ten Hag and how he's treated them and how they have treated him. So for all you people that probably won't watch this video because you don't want to, because it's me talking about the other side of the argument with Ten Hag, you might as well just send your trolls and your negativity to the stupidresponse.com inbox that we have set up on the channel here. I'm only joking. I haven't got that inbox, but I might as well set one up for you guys, because you know what? No matter how you look at this, no matter how you sort of dissect what has gone on at Manchester United, there's angles from all over the place. Like, there's issues in every single corner of the football club. I think we've actually covered all of it this week, from staff to players to manager to reactions to fan base to standards, everything. And it all comes down to these last few games. The last week of the season starts tomorrow. 3 games in 1 week and then a cup final. Let's look at what we've got there, and let's look at how we've got there and the players that have let Ten Hag down in getting to this stage. Or is it Ten Hag's fault in how he's handled them players? Because there's a lot going on at the moment and a lot of stories behind the scenes about senior players that have been treated differently to others. And I think this, again, has popped up earlier on in the season as well and has had big issues within the squad. So let's get into that. We're live. I was going to do a separate pre-recorded video for this, but you know what I thought? Let's just get the chat going on a Saturday. Everyone's chilling out in the sun wherever they are, wanting to get involved. Give me your thoughts on it. Let's get live. Get the comments in, everyone. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. Just so you know, this is Forever United TV. If you wasn't already subscribed to the channel, you might as well subscribe now and get involved in the chat, because that's the only way you can do. And please give the video a like as well if you're loving the content. We sort of say things differently on this channel here. There is other news going around as well. I am going to touch on to that. The Mason Greenwood situation is escalating every single day now. I want to touch on that before we finish up on the show today as well. But I want to dive into Marcus Rashford and just get into detail on whether this is where Ten Hag ultimately has just completely fallen down this season. Has Marcus Rashford, being the most senior player at Manchester United, actually ruined Ten Hag? Because he set the standard with Rashford earlier on in the season. So I want to get your thoughts on this as well. Jordan Hall, thank you so much. First of all, you've donated 3 memberships. Ginger82, Bacon Butter and Chrissy Hilton have all taken them memberships. Welcome to the membership club, guys. Please give Jordan a thank you in the chat. And what a way to start our Saturday lunchtime show, Jordan. Absolutely loving that, mate. Really appreciate everything that you always do and always donate, mates, along with everyone else who drops in to the chat with their donations as well. Thank you. Let's get the likes up and let's get cracking with the show then, shall we? Marcus Rashford, this weekend, why is it in focus? Why are we talking about Marcus Rashford? Well, we got the news in the press conference yesterday that McTominay, Rashford and Bruno Fernandes are all back fit and available, probably, in Ten Hag's words, confident that they will be available for the game against Arsenal. So let's look at the positive. We've looked at the negative side of injuries. Luke Shaw, Mason Mount. Looking ahead to the game, which is tomorrow, let's look at the positive side, because that is a positive for Manchester United. It's a positive in so many ways, because there's no excuse again. You've got fit first-team players back in the team, and Manchester United should really be able to compete with Arsenal tomorrow. There's no excuse. We've said this all along, but good players coming back. You can argue the jury's out with the likes of Rashford and Scott McTominay, but both have had involvement in these games in the past and have really performed quite well, to be honest. Talking into Marcus Rashford on that more than any, like, he makes his 400th appearance for Manchester United if he plays against Arsenal. Now, as much as I don't like the guy, as much as I think his behaviour this season has been a disgrace and he has embarrassed the football club, disrespected the fans, and everything that's gone with it, I have to obviously stand up and applaud anyone who gets the 400 appearances. And I want to make that clear, like, that is no mean feat and that is a massive achievement. So first of all, I want to start by saying congratulations to Marcus Rashford for getting that. But just because Marcus Rashford is getting his 400th appearance tomorrow, and Ten Hag has been answering questions in private interviews after the press conference yesterday regarding this, just because that is there, do we automatically have to accept that Marcus Rashford should be getting that 400th appearance tomorrow? Just because he is fit and available to play in this game tomorrow, why should Marcus Rashford be in this team? Is this where Manchester United's standards have fallen? Is this a problem for Ten Hag? Talking like he's already definitely going to start. Like, forget about form. Like, he's just come back from injury, that's one thing. But it's like form and previous performances this season just do not count with Ten Hag. And he's just going to automatically put Rashford back into them because he's a senior player. And he will be making his 400th appearance. Sometimes I think, and this is, like, guys, look, you know what I'm like. I'll just tell you as it is. Sometimes I just feel like they're just going to put that out there to make a positive and put a positive out there. And Rashford's getting his 400th appearance. Why is that so much of a tongue twister for me? Anyway, I said it. Like, congratulations. It doesn't necessarily have to be against Arsenal. Like, I don't care. All I care about, and the most important thing to me as a Manchester United fan, is winning games and watching the team and seeing the team play well. Marcus Rashford doesn't belong in that team right now because he's not been playing well enough. So that's my argument on that. With Marcus, I just think he should be accepting. If he is Mr. Manchester United, if he is all-blooded Manchester United through academy, like, we've seen the comments that he made in his interview. If he is like absolutely fully invested in this football club and everybody should believe in that, then Marcus Rashford really should be accepting a spot on the bench tomorrow and not starting. That's how I see the situation. I think that's fair. What I'm getting at is just because it's his 400th appearance, an interview talking about Marcus Rashford and everything going on with Ten Hag at this point, him desperately needing points. Like, a question he answered before that is points are at a premium at this stage of the season and they're vital for us right now. We have plenty to play for. So realistically, in that comment from Ten Hag, yes, the FA Cup, it's a major trophy. Cannot be sniffed at. We're great if we win it, especially against City. There's plenty to play for there. And we can win our last 3 games if we want to turn up, that is. And actually finish in 6th in the league anyway and put it all to bed with no pressure and then go and win a trophy. Look at it that way. That is another possibility. But in all of the talk regarding Ten Hag, the pressure that he's got in his situation right now, his career at Manchester United and everything like that, for a question to come out regarding a 400th appearance for Marcus Rashford, yeah, like, talk about this afterwards. Why are we talking about 400th appearance? It's like the agenda's being pushed on to everyone straight away. This again, it's just me and the way I am and the way I look at things, and you can disagree if you want. I'm not got a problem with that. But do you not just feel like it's being pushed on you before we've even looked at the football side of things? We should be looking at who's in form. We should be looking at who is fit and fully fit and raring to play. Ten Hag yesterday said in his press conference that I will never risk any player. I will never risk any player that isn't fully fit. Marcus Rashford is not 90 minutes ready. He's not fully fit. And you've got 2 other wingers that are fully fit and raring to go. And let's be fair, have not been given a fair crack of the whip this season behind Marcus Rashford, because he has always been put on the pitch and is always going to play while Ten Hag is the manager. So for all of the Ten Hag arguments and everything like that, this was just proof. Like, you only have to listen to what Ten Hag said in the response to this yesterday. In response to Marcus Rashford, his 400th appearance for Manchester United, this is what Ten Hag came back with. It's a massive achievement if you do it for any club, but if you do it for Manchester United, that's a huge achievement. So many games, so many goals he produces, and he's only 26, so there's still a long way to go. A long way to go. Yes, a long way to go at Manchester United. That's with Ten Hag in situ. That's what we're looking at if Ten Hag stays. So anyone who thinks that certain players are going to be leaving because Ten Hag is staying, I've said this before, you're solely mistaken. It's not the way it's going to be. I just want to be looking at the football side of things rather than bigging up something that doesn't need to be mentioned until it actually happens. Like, yeah, talk about it at the end of a conversation. Talk about it when it's actually happened or after the game. That's when things like this need to be talked about. Not now. Not before a crucial game. We've got a manager's career on the line here, if anything. Like, everyone has a go at me for having a go at Ten Hag, but then everyone's just lauding this up. Like he's being forced into playing because he's got 400 games under his belt. Let the man manage then. You can't have it both ways. It's ridiculous how everything is pushed and the agendas are pushed at this football club. And I've just got a massive issue with it. I always have, and I just always look at things that happen before games and what's happening when there's time and United are not playing and everyone's not talking about certain things that are going on football related at the football club. You are forced into thinking. And I've seen an absolute shed load of love for Ten Hag on social media. Everyone trying to big up Gary Neville now and talking about Gary Neville, about him knowing something. We said it last night. I don't think he does. Like, why would Ineos invite him into the deeper dealings of what goes on for the football side of things at the football club? All he is part of the A-team. Task force. Let's build Manchester and the surrounding area. That's all he's involved in. Forget about the football side of it. He's got no say at all on that. So people jumping on anything just to feed that agenda that Ten Hag is going to be staying and this is the way forward for the football club. Look at the football. Look at the results. What's more important? The paying fans who go, spend at home, subscriptions, everything, take time out of their days to watch this football club and then just get let down every week. Let's not forget who is most important at Manchester United. It ain't the players, it ain't the staff, it ain't the manager, it's the fans, the ones that pay the wages. That's why football should be coming first and what we're getting. This football club is a million miles behind with all of that. I mean, Ten Hag with Marcus Rashford, for instance. I'll come to the chat in a second, actually, on this one, see where you guys are at. If the whole agenda and pushing things onto you by the football club, I want your answers on that one. And straight away, in terms of the poll that I've put up, can Rashford redeem himself with a strong finish this season? Look, guys, I'm trying. Like, you can call me negative all you want. I'm offering it out there. But 85% of you has said no. It doesn't matter what he does. He's already made his bed. Now lay in it. You don't call out the fan base. I wanted to just gauge where you guys were at with that one. But 85% no. Even if he has a mega end to the season. That's where this fan base is at right now. Tom with a super chat. Rashford is Lingard Mark II, but it looks like every manager has been forced to play Rashford. It's worrying. This is why it won't change until the head of the snake is chopped off, and that's Marcus Rashford. For me, that's just my opinion on that. And I'm offering it to you guys to actually just come back and tell me, like, do you think that there is another way around this? Can we look at this in a different way? I'm bringing up all of these stats here. Like last season, Marcus Rashford was Ten Hag's saviour. Without Marcus Rashford last season, Ten Hag would be struggling to even make it through to the season we've just had. Because the goals last season were shocking. Like the amount of goals we scored was appalling. Well, Marcus Rashford, on his own last season pretty much, kept Manchester United afloat. Now, is that Ten Hag falling into that category of that's another player that he knows now and he can trust because he's had one season? Like, the players that Ten Hag brings into the football club are all players that he knows. Does he feel like, because of what happened last season, how close he was to Marcus Rashford? We all know the misdemeanour at Wolves when he reported in late and then was put on the bench. Everyone thought United were going in the right direction. Marcus Rashford carried on and we thought, you know what, he's actually listening. He came out with the interview afterwards and put it all to bed, just was dead honest, and I thought, that's the Marcus Rashford that I've been telling everyone about for years. That's the Mr. Man United right there. That's what we want to see with Marcus Rashford. And Ten Hag knows what Rashford gave him last season, but Ten Hag's blind faith in Marcus Rashford because of that is what's cost him this season, which is why I've made up this video and wanted to talk about this more than the other news at the start, because the important thing is to just solely focus on what we've got now. Like, the past is the past, it's done. But we're on the cusp of something brand new at Manchester United, and there's two big issues right here in Marcus Rashford and Ten Hag, and you put them both together, and it's like creating a bomb which is going to go off and ruin everything in terms of the future plans of Manchester United. If Ten Hag sold Marcus Rashford, I would have a lot more faith in Ten Hag going forward. He has just fallen into this trap and completely protected this player more than any other player at the football club. It sometimes makes me think like things are just made up which have actually happened. just to cause a scene, to actually make it look like a manager has actually done something to back a player or something significant that people can talk about. It's a crazy thought process, I know, but sometimes I struggle to believe that things actually went down Graham's in the chat. How about this, Adam? You deserve to play ahead of Rashford on the basis that of that debacle at Selhurst Park. Sorry, say that. Let me just read that. Who deserves to play ahead of Marcus Rashford on the basis of that debacle at Selhurst Park? This is like I said at the start of the show, Graham. Like, he's gone under the radar now because Manchester United are playing just as crap without him. Well, straight away, my team to change that up. I would give Ahmad his chance. I would drop Anthony to the bench and play Garnacho, Ahmad, and Højlund. The only reason I would is because I feel like Højlund has shown more this season than what Rashford has, and so has Garnacho. So, basis off their whole season, I think they deserve to be given a chance, with Bruno behind them again for Mason Mount, obviously, because he's injured, and out goes Anthony for Ahmad, and Rashford sits on the bench. The main point of this, Graham, is to say, look, Rashford is not fully fit. He's only just come back to training the back end of this week. We don't want another player coming in a game against Arsenal with a fully fit Arsenal team that are full of energy and can run us off the pitch with someone who isn't going to be fit enough, who doesn't work hard enough in the first place, because we are going to be defending. Ahmad will put a shift in. We've seen what he did against Liverpool in his tracking and winning of the ball and creating 2 goals in that game. So that type of player, agile, gets around the pitch, that's what I want to see against Arsenal. Because I think we're going to need a lot of energy. Garnacho will bring it, Højlund will bring it, and Ahmad will all bring it and give us our best chance of any press. And with Bruno being back to back that up, I think we're all right in that situation there. I'm happy with that. And with having a full week off, I think the likes of Højlund and Garnacho will prosper from that as well. So that would be how I would sort of approach why Rashford should be on the bench. I still fully expect him to play. I do. I think it'll be the mistake that Ten Hag keeps on making through his whole career at Manchester United. Harry 100%, I would definitely play McTominay at centre-back over Casemiro if nobody back fit, yet out of our actual defenders. Look, the problem we've got is that we know we've got no fit centre-backs again apart from Johnny Evans. Definitely no Varane, definitely no Maguire. Casemiro, would you play him there? Guys, would you play him there? This is a game that Manchester United have to win. Let's not forget, out of all of this, we're spoiling the party, we're stopping Arsenal from winning the league and all of this talk. We actually have to win this game for us. All I'm hearing about is Manchester United being involved in the title race in the wrong ways, looking forward to the actual FA Cup final. And again, I go back to the fans. Like, the fans are going to these games. Are you actually going to give up just because you've got a final coming up? Like, I'm not saying that certain players should be rushed back, like I just said, but what you've got to look at is, like, you've got to make these players be available for the final. And by that, I mean, give them the right amount of game time. Don't just rush them back and risk that injury. Ten Hag could be going straight back on his words by bringing Rashford in here in this game. By saying he's never risking any player through injury, not risking them unfit. He's not going to play them if they're not 100%. Like, Rashford is not 100%. We know this. He has only just started training this week. So I would put him on the bench. If we can be solid, if we can stay in the game, somehow just battle it out with pure energy alone and stubbornness, and then you bring Rashford on. Like, Rashford's record against Arsenal is phenomenal. I think Rashford will score tomorrow. I'm going to say that now. He always finds it easier to play against Arsenal because he has got everything that Arsenal hate in that back line. Yes, Saliba and Gabriel are strong, but Rashford's quick feet and Rashford's unpredictability make it hard for them two defenders. They've always struggled against Marcus Rashford. He's not that physical presence. He's not going to get involved in that. So you're not going to get that sort of battling out Haaland sort of battle that Saliba loves and Gabriel loves. That's what Rasmus Højlund's going to do. He will take them two defenders for a ride and just battle it out with them all day long. It's whether Rashford's actually got anything about him to feed off that and actually take advantage of it. That's how I see the game sort of panning out if Rashford plays. But I just look at it and I go, don't start him, Eric. Back up what you said in the press conference and don't give us anything else to talk about. You've already let him off the hook this season. And I've put the poll out there now and said, look, is there any way back for Rashford? Like 85% are just giving him no chance whatsoever. So let's just look at it that way and go, Marcus Rashford, just take your turn on the bench. Do what you've got to do. Just give us something in these last few games. Give the fans back something. If you are, like you say you are, like fully committed to Manchester United, then give us something in these last few games before the season finishes. And then give the fans something to debate about. I just don't see it in him. I don't. And I think he will just bring Ten Hag down. He'll bring him down. And his blind faith in him is what will end him for me. Into the chat we go. Come on, Adam. If they don't get in any manager, does it entitle the players to throw their toys out of the pram? It has happened with 4 managers. People forget a new manager and repeat. Michael, I keep saying this to people. I understand what you're saying, but you keep talking about the managers. You keep talking about what's happened with these players before. Like the obvious players that are an issue are the ones that have been with them managers. But all anyone's talking about is Anthony, Casemiro, Mason Mount, Onana. Tell me that these are not the players that everyone's talking about right now. Someone, before we carry on, I can just roll off all of these players. Amrabat. Do you know what I mean? You know where I'm going with this? These are all Eric Ten Hag players that everyone's moaning about right now. And they keep bringing them into the same conversation. It's the players. It's been happening for years. They've only been here 18 bleeding months, these players. So you can't bring them into the same argument. Rashford, Shaw, McTominay, Maguire, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. These are the players that need to be scrutinised. The Martials of this world, Lindelofs. These are the issues at this football club. The arrogance within these players. And you know what? This argument continues into a few others. It's like Jadon Sancho walked into Manchester United and just took advantage of how this is. Like, best mates with Marcus Rashford. And I still stand by what I said in the whole issue with Sancho was combined with the Rashford situation. Like, best mates, constantly talking all of the time. And your best mate gets exiled from the football club. Like, where is your head at? Marcus Rashford scored a fantastic goal in that Arsenal game when all of the Jadon Sancho shit kicked off. And after that press conference afterwards, Rashford just went bang right down that hill. Completely fallen off. So there is an issue there. These are the players that are the problem. The problem with the other players, the Ten Hag players, is down to him. Because they're his players and they're not good enough. Yes, Casemiro was good enough for one season, but we all knew, and this is why Sir Jim Ratcliffe came in and had an issue with the recruitment side of things, because there's nothing long-term for Casemiro. Why are we spending 60, 70 million, whatever it was on Casemiro, and not spending that extra 30 million to just go and get Declan Rice? They're the types of players. Ten Hag was actually asked about Declan Rice. And he said he would be a good fit, but we've got Mason Mount. He did the perfect Ten Hag avoid the question again, like he always does, Ten Hag. So, yeah, it was a sidestep, a classic sidestep. But players like that should have been brought in. I would take the average person on 25k a year, 12 years to earn what Rashford does in a week. It would take that, yes, it would. 10 players out, starting with our number 10. I think 12, Stephanie. 12. Just see what else we've got in the chat here from you guys. I'm of the mind that it's more important to sell or get rid of players than to buy anyone. Whole root and branch reform. We've said this all along. It's really difficult to pick a player to come in. We all know there's decent players out there, but we just don't know where they're going to fit in. Like, what's the point in bringing in a great forward if Marcus Rashford's going to keep on playing? This is why I keep going on. Like, everyone's been talking about the Elise figure being sent out there. United's, like Romano says, top runners for it. What is the point? What is the point? You are spending money on a player that is not guaranteed to be in the starting lineup unless Marcus Rashford is sold. So why are we even looking at Elise? Like, I question the recruitment completely already under Ineos if we go in for Elise. I like him. But I've always said I like him if Manchester United get rid of Marcus Rashford. That way, then, I can see that the structure is actually doing its job and trying to make it fit best for the manager. Rashford is clearly an issue. He's got something in his contract which tells that tells managers that he has to play a certain amount of games. There's no other explanation for it because his form has been shit. And nobody deserves to be playing in that starting lineup. Nobody in this team right now. You could argue a few players, but everyone in their performances, you've got no problem if any of them are dropped. Yeah, we could take that debate further and say if any of them are sold, you won't lose your sleep. But to be fair, I think what we can do is just round it up and say that not one of them players has done enough this season to guarantee a starting place in this team next season. That's how bad it has been. Hi Adam, I hope you're well, pal. Another excellent video as always. Love from Dublin. Thank you, Shane. Rashford never wins headers and he's tall, for F's sake, says the Muppet Show. Rashford can't beat players, he can't score, and he gives the ball away. That's what use is he? I understand all of them. Ten Hag needs to play a bank of 4 and a midfield 5 and frustrate the Gooners and hope we get a goal on the counter. Well, counter-attacking football does suit Marcus Rashford. I still think Rashford will score. It's crazy, isn't it? But I think he will score tomorrow. Amrabat was always played out of position. Ten Hag's style is always out of position. Then blames the players. Yes, some bad, but all need blaming. Ten Hag out, says Jordan Hall with the super chat. Thanks for that, Jordan. I do agree with Ten Hag playing out of players. Playing players out of position. He does. And there's no excuse for it. There is literally no excuse for what Ten Hag does with the players. It's like playing Amrabat on left back. I know it was desperate at the time, but Lindelof was available for some of them games as well, and he could have played there. It's mad how he's chopping and changing around with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's like he's trying to make him look bad, just so we get rid of him. I'm not blaming Wan-Bissaka. I mean, he can go for me. I'm not blaming Ten Hag on Wan-Bissaka. I think he's one on the list that can go. The hot list for me this summer, the realistic hot list is, I could say realistic because Marcus is not going to go, is he? But the ones that I would definitely be getting rid of out of this bunch, obviously Martial is going. I would be getting rid of Rashford, Martial, Lindelof and Aaron Wan-Bissaka for definite starters. Rashford's an issue and I don't think we're going to lose him. I don't think he's going to leave. But that then brings me back into my debate regarding Michael Elise. What's the point in spending that amount of money? It's like going back to Mason Mount all over again. You're bringing in a player, well, it looks like a decent chunk of money and a fair price, I must add. I've not got a problem in paying that fee for Elise. But what's the point in bringing him in when you know he's not going to be coming straight into the first team? You don't spend that amount of money now with Manchester United in the position they're in, which is a chunk of money, and it will be a big part of our budget if he's not a guaranteed starter. You don't do it. What are you looking at? You're looking to buy a player just so no one else gets them. When did Man United ever prosper from playing or working like that? It's not going to work for United. It will end up destroying Elise. And I hope he looks at this and goes, well, where am I going to fit? The agents of these players need to now start asking these questions to football clubs, especially Manchester United, to say, where do I fit in this football team? If Marcus Rashford is not sold this summer, then Michael Elise is a complete waste of time because he's not going to go straight into the first team. Ten Hag will not start him ahead of Marcus Rashford. I don't think he'd start him ahead of Garnacho. He's definitely not going to move Rasmus Højlund around just to make this work. And then you've got Pellistri, Ahmad. Who else have we got in that forward position that can play? Well, let's go Pellistri and Ahmad as well. You've got them players. Yeah, you could always sell certain players, but this is the argument against Ten Hag again. Rashford will always play. Ahmad will be put down the pecking order. We know where he stands. Why though? Why? Ten Hag comes out and praises him all of the time, but never backs it up and never plays him. So why is Ahmad never getting a sniff. What is he doing? All we're hearing is Ten Hag is struggling for players. You can never play. No team can ever compete or succeed with the amount of injuries that we've had in key positions. Every position is key in a football team. Every single position is key. But you've got Ahmad there who's fully fit, raring to go, who you just won't give a chance to. Every time he comes on, he proves that he has got something and wants to impress the manager. He is doing everything that he has been told, just like Pellistri did, but he won't get a sniff either. So while Ten Hag is in situ, you know that we are never going to see Ahmad start a game for Manchester United. You're going to see him play players that he has brought into the football club ahead of anyone that we want to see that could possibly be better. I don't think he wants to play them players simply because he's scared that they will impress, and then his players will be sat on the bench and it makes his recruitment look shit. Just my opinion on that one. Try and explain any other way around it if you want and come back to me in the chat with it, but I just don't understand why Ahmad is not getting the game time that he deserves. What's the point in being at a football club wasting away like this? Southgate manipulate fans to back out Ten Hag. I agree. 50 quid to charity if he actually leaves. Fans being manipulated. Pay season ticket. Cash in the back or in the bank even, Jordan. Thank you for that super chat, buddy. By the way, guys, Donny van der Beek, Achilles injury. Here we go again. Oh, my God. Like, when you want to get rid of players, you can't get rid of players. What is it with this injury popping up now, just as the season's about to finish? It's like it's timed perfectly. So Donny van der Beek has been sent over to the Netherlands to do his recovery. Oh, I give up with him, honestly. Like, this is just how this is going to end with United again. I don't want to be that sort of conspiracy theory sort of guy. Like, I'm not. I like to look at the facts. I like to look at the whole picture. But come on, this happens all of the time. Like, even when players are going out on loan away from Man United, they're getting fucking injured. Like, come on. I know we're not going to get much for Donny anyway. Honestly, I'd pay him off and get him out. Get him off the wages. Spend the money and get him rid of these players. For God's sake. That's how I feel right now with this team. Like, everybody does everything they possibly can. And I know there's an eye, and it's probably not with Donny, but I cannot help but feel it because of the way that this club is. That there's something behind these players continuously taking this club for a ride. Graham, that's disrespectful, mate. I'm sorry. They will make it under any manager. You cannot say that, mate. That is way below the belt, pal. I'm going to have to pull you on that one. Ahmad and Pellistri won't make it under any manager. People need to accept it. No, mate, I'm sorry. That's bad. You cannot say that because they haven't been given a chance. They have not been given a chance. Glad to see the end of the season. Get rid of 80% of this squad. We are embarrassment. Stu, I hate to agree with you, guy, but he has a point. Pellistri and Ahmad were never given a real honest chance. You're right, Adam. If Ahmad plays and impresses, that means Erik Ten Hag players don't get a look in. This is why he refuses to play them. My prediction looks like going for free is a safe bet on Donny. Yes, Graham, 100% Donny. He's definitely... we're not going to make any money for Donny. This guy does my head in, honestly. I feel sorry for him at times, and then I'm just like, God, he's just like a hindrance. He really is. Injuries are Ten Hag's biggest strength. Yeah. Southgate's a perfect fit for Man United. No, he's not. These players get injured because they don't want to lose wages. Depends if he referring to being at United. If so, I agree. Another top team will succeed. I think that's replying to Graham. I think if Ten Hag could have made something out of Ahmad and Pellistri for me, I think they would have definitely prospered. I just don't understand why he won't play them. We can see what we're seeing. If we can see that Rashford is crap and can't be bothered, and then we've got a player that can be bothered and has offered us more when he's come on, we've just not seen enough of it because Ten Hag won't play them ahead of the so-called big guns, then that's on Ten Hag. Like the situation with Ten Hag is destroying players' careers right now with the way he works. If you weren't going to use Ahmad, which he hasn't, the man literally got you into an FA Cup semi-final, showing complete composure on the biggest stage, the most intense atmosphere I've felt at Old Trafford in years. Then you've got to be honest with yourself and say, what else can Ahmad do? What else can he do? No one's going to come in here and tell me that he's been given a chance and he has looked crap. No player is ever going to be able to prosper unless he gets the right amount of game time. No, Graham, do you know what? I disagree again, mate. I disagree again. Expectation. Ahmad's got 70-odd thousand and 18 million people watching him running through on goal. How's your mettle? Can you handle the occasion? Can you handle that stress? Liverpool against United, injury time, last kick of the game, in actual extra time, and he puts it in the corner. What more can a man do to then get a place at least or get more minutes in the next game? Nothing. Nothing. I'm not having it. I am not having it at all. He was our best forward when he came on against Coventry, and he had less time than anyone. Honestly, I swear, like, people who think like they're just not good enough, like, what are you watching in training, Eric? What is going on at Carrington again? Why are you not picking Ahmad? This is what I want to know. What does it take? I know we're never going to get to know, like, what is, like, the pecking order and, like, how do players get into Manchester United's side? What do they do to get in? Is it built off what they do when they come on the pitch, or is it something that happens in training? Have you got to be nice to the manager? Like, what do you have to do to get into the United side? Because everything that I've seen with Ahmad, I feel he's done everything right. Palestri has had a little bit more time, but I didn't think Palestri did bad when he came on the pitch in games either. He's done a lot more than they've both done a lot more than what Anthony has. And Anthony plays. It's because of the price tag. It's because Ten Hag bought them. It's because Ten Hag put his faith in Rashford. This is why he keeps on picking these players ahead of the players that are not getting a chance in the side. That is on Ten Hag. Not willing to change, not willing to do something different, not willing to do a different system, not willing to sit in and be deep and play a different style, nothing. Stubborn to the core, and it will end him at Manchester United. Ten Hag develops players into enemies. I'd rather look a bit silly over a transfer than look totally incompetent and lose my job backing the signing when I know it's not working. Like, a bigger man always comes out and accepts. Louise is dead right with that one. Let's see now. With Mbappe confirmed he's leaving, Rashford might play well with the slim chance of a move. Like, Rashford does need to move. I think Rashford needs to move for us. Rashford needs to move for him. Rashford needs to move just to get this saga done and dusted and finished. That's what needs to happen. It's a horrible situation to be in for Ten Hag. It is. And there is a lot of me that still feels really sorry for him. I know no one will pick up on this. They'll just look at the negative side of things. But I'll always go with, my opinion is built off what I watch on the pitch. And I know that team is not good enough in the way it's set up. And he doesn't play to the strengths of them players that are on that pitch. Whether or not you can look into the attitude of the players and look into that more, you can throw that into the argument. Yes, you can. But it comes and gets to a point where these players just give up because they know that no matter what they do, it's not going to make a difference with this manager. It's not. He's not going to give them a chance. And that's how you keep a squad balanced. Like Sir Alex Ferguson was a master at it. You only had to listen to what Ashley Young was saying on the Monday Night Football when he was talking about how Sir Alex always man-managed. Like, we didn't do tactics. We didn't do anything like this. He just man-managed the team. And when there were certain games that come around, you'd sort of manage that a bit better and maybe do a little bit more with tactics. But he always knew how to keep the whole squad on board. Is there a manager out there that can do that? I'm not saying anyone that's been mentioned is is capable of that? We don't know. But what I am saying is it's quite clear that Ten Hag is not capable of that. He's not. Look at the issues and the fallouts. And it's all right putting players in their place, but sometimes you need to find a way to get the best out of players. And if we are going to move forward with Ten Hag, like, do we have to completely change everything to suit him? Should we not be putting the United philosophy in place right now and getting the manager to do what we want to do, i.e. like the new structure? Everything just seems to be like, everyone seems to be getting in and behind Ten Hag and backing him for no reason. Like, it's all right to scrutinise. It's all right to criticise what's going on. You are paying these players wages. You can have a go. Don't just say it blindly because it doesn't seem like the right thing to do. No, sacking managers is never nice. But so is players being unfairly treated and not given a chance as well. There's a whole bigger argument in this. And you know what? I still believe that Ten Hag would have got more out of this squad this season if he'd give other players and different systems and tried to be adaptable more. I think he would have done more and he would have got more out of them. The injuries, I'm not giving it him. Not at all. Not one bit. Because if Chelsea and Newcastle finish above us, and they've had more injuries than Manchester United this season overall, then he's got no excuse. They're finishing in 6th, Newcastle, if Man United don't get their act together now. We're missing one centre-back. I'm sorry, I'm not having it. Again, I said it against Crystal Palace. There was only Casemiro that was out of position in that game. Everyone else knew what they were doing. And Ten Hag said they didn't follow the rules. They didn't follow the script. The perfect script is United winning games, but you have to earn it. They need direction. To make you get the script, the movie's set, the scene's there, everything is lined up perfectly, but you need a director to get through that script and direct everyone around to make the perfect movie. If we're going down the road of what Ten Hag talks about in terms of rules and scripts, then he's the director in that, and he needs to move people around to make it the perfect picture. He's just not doing it. He's not doing it. And instead of looking for what he can do to change the situation, he's looking back at excuses to try and cover his ass. That's how I see it right now, and that's how he's talking constantly in the past and in the negative. So when people say that I'm being negative about it, I think he's being negative and he's forcing me out to talk about it this way. If he'd have come out and said, look, we just aren't good enough, I couldn't get my instructions across to the players, we just go away, we work on this and we try and rectify it and try something different if we have to. But the crap that comes out of his mouth just does my tree, and it really does. Gaming Simp says, I agree, Adam, I'm not a Rashford fan. It's like having 10 men on the pitch. I would move. A move would be best for all. Yeah. Jordan, fans chant Southgate name. Anything better than this? See Ineos walk quickly, change and sack the manager. The Muppet Show says, in fairness too, we should never have let De Gea walk, and in the manner in which it ended. I've had my opinion on the De Gea one. I back Ten Hag. I do. Like I said, people again will ignore the fact that I have backed Ten Hag on a lot of things this season, on a lot of issues that he's had. But all I'm bothered about, I give my opinion on everything as we talk about everything at this on this channel regarding the football club, guys. All I'm bothered about at the end of the day is what happens on the pitch. That's the most important thing, and this is where the manager's job actually comes under scrutiny more than any other part. Like, you can do all of the things like dealing with Ronaldo, dealing with Sancho, the takeover and everything like that. That's great. I've backed him on everything on that side of things. I don't like some of his signings, but my main issue with Ten Hag is the results on the pitch. It was crap last season in terms of goals scored. We should never have been battered the way we was in certain games. And this season, the fall-off just shouts out to me like the man has lost control. And I don't think anyone will change my mind. The only person who can change my mind on Ten Hag is Ten Hag. There's nothing that anyone will say to me that's going to convince me otherwise. It's up to Eric Ten Hag to try and convince me, and a lot of other people as well, that he's the right man for Manchester United. He has to be adaptable. This is what the Premier League is. Real Madrid haven't got an issue with being adaptable and going defensive and playing counter-attack football against Man City. It got the job done. They've seen it out. and got the tie over the line. The best do it. There is no perfect system in football, and there's definitely not one way of playing in the Premier League. You have to be able to find different ways, and Ten Hag just isn't doing it. And he said this out to Gary Neville. He said, what's the point in changing it? Because when the players come back who are injured, then you've got to go back again. You've fallen away. No, you should be training different systems constantly every single day in training. There's got to be plan A, B and C and different ways to play certain games. The professional footballers who are paid a fortune, the managers are paid a fortune to get through different bits of adversity through a season. You have to be adaptable and stop complaining. Well, I don't know if he will. He's going to play Marcus Rashford, I think, against Arsenal. I do think Marcus Rashford will score. It just depends how much of an impact that has on the game. Again, it will be a moment that United hopefully can cling on to and take something from the game. But in terms of systems, I just don't think any system that Ten Hag puts in is ever going to be sustainable with Marcus Rashford in the side. I don't. That's just the way it is. And that's pretty much... would you have McTominay instead of Casemiro at centre-back, Adam, if those end up being the options? You know what, Louise? I probably would. I'd put Casemiro back in his natural position, see if it helps him out. McTominay, I don't think he's quick enough for what Arsenal have got either, but again, he's decent in the air. He's always brilliant defensively. Casemiro is in the air as well. But I would play both of them, and I would play McTominay probably further back. I would actually think of even dropping 2 defensive midfielders in front of that back 4 and playing a bit of Van Gaal football and just having a certain number of men committed to going forward, because Arsenal will press high. United will have to go quick and counter-attack. Guys, that's it. We are all finished. Thank you for tuning in. It was just going to be a pre-record, but I thought, you know what, let's go and have a chat with the guys and see how everyone's doing. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday lunchtime. I'm going to do a later show tonight, guys. We started to mix it up on Saturdays a little bit to find out what suits people best, because I know a lot of people are out enjoying themselves, so we're going to move it to probably around about 8 o'clock, half past 8ish for tonight's show. Another bit of a feature show ahead of the game tomorrow. So hopefully that's okay for everybody. I will put a post out later on as well just to confirm, so you're all up to date. And then we'll go from there, guys. Thank you so much. Over 100 likes, super chats, 4 new members in as well. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, guys, for your contribution, as always. And I will see you later on this evening. Have a fantastic day, people. Put that sun cream